right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Flipping Principal podcast. I keep calling it a podcast, but really, this is more of just a Zoom recording. It's my fancy way of doing things. So today we have Mrs. Bealer with us. She is a kindergarten teacher here at Beartooth Elementary School. And Ms. Bealer, I'm just going to jump in and ask you questions. Just be honest, candid, no preparation. I know, just jump in here.
I can do that.
Oh, perfect. That's the way we roll around here. So first question is really just, why did you become a teacher? What called you to this profession?
Oh, this one's always fun because I stumbled upon it by chance. And I look back now and I'm like, how did I not know this is what I wanted to do from forever? So in college, I went to college for nursing. I wanted to be that person there for somebody and knew I wanted to be somebody that helped others. And one semester in, I decided, wow, that's not what I need to do. And all of my friends around me were going into teaching, and I jumped right in and fell in love with it the moment I stepped into a classroom. And I can honestly say it has been the biggest part of my life. And I look back and I watch at-home videos, and I was teaching my sister, and I was sitting up on the couch and telling her exactly what to do. And, some might think bossy, but, leaders. I was always teaching her. My mom was a para in the district. I didn't know, and she was at my school, and I was that kiddo that had mom working at the school, and I didn't even think anything of it. She helped kids that, especially those that needed that extra help, and was there for them to pick them up and get them back on track. And I didn't realize how inspiring that was until I became a teacher myself, and especially now looking at paras and those people that help us do our jobs each and every day. We make a difference. And we were saying, I'm so nervous earlier. I mean, everything that comes with the teaching, I get so nervous and amped and excited. It's like, it's just a big part of who I am. And I stumbled across it, but I'm so lucky, so lucky.
There's a great quote, and I love this quote. It says something, and I'm not going to get it quite right, but it's something about, when you find something that you love to do, it's never a job, something like that, do what you love and love what you do. You can feel it just coming out of you and just eating out of you. And that's where that anticipation, that excitement comes from. And I see it in you every single day. So you start talking about really kind of that idea of servant leadership, and that you knew you wanted to give back and serve others and be there for people. And you chose to do it with little kids in a classroom. Initially, you were thinking nursing. And I find that really interesting because right behind you, you chose a backdrop with a whole bunch of kids in your classroom. Yes. Tell me about those kids. What is it about those kids that just that hooks you?
Oh, I'm going to cry.
Okay. I know.
I'm going to cry.
Terribly. Well, I know.
I sat in this spot. These are actually my old students. These aren't even my current students. I keep them on my wall because they'll always be my kids. I like the littles. I never in a million years would have thought that the young kids, but I definitely love being that first impression for them of what learning is and is supposed to be, and how it's an amazing, magical, fun, exciting thing. And I want to instill that in them. They come and visit me whenever. I just want this room to be their home away from home. I put up things that make it feel like home. I frame their pictures. We have our houses. We have those pictures framed around the room. I actually have taken most of them home. They're in my home office because I want them there with me. But once my kid, you're always my kid. And I just want them to go on from my room knowing learning's exciting, knowing that learning can be fun, and that we want to be doing it each and every day, and that it's not another tedious task. It should be part of what they carry with them for eternity. I went back, got my master's. I go back and I learn. I love taking conferences, going to conferences and things that inspire me to be better, and I want them to have that same experience. I don't believe that I had that experience as a child, 100%. I definitely don't. I look back at what I remember, the teachers I remember, the things that I remember. And they were hands-on, they were engaging, they were amazing teachers that went outside of the box and got to know us outside of the classroom, or took us to their house for a picnic in the backyard at the end of the school year. And I got to see where they lived, and I knew they were a person. And we're not able to do all those things, but we are able to make it exciting for them and make them know that we're people too, and we love them and care about them. And just take it that step further than just being in a classroom and being students and teachers, but a family, a cohesive learning train that we can just power through and be the best too. I mean, it's not just having fun, it's having fun, but like at this rigor that's like way higher than what it should be. And they're so capable. These little children take everything in, and I love seeing that with them and them loving it and thanking me at the end for making their year so fun. But I know that they got so much more out of it than just fun.
It really is. It's a heartfelt journey, you know, and not just heartfelt, but like you said, you also have those expectations that are set so high, and you keep pushing and pushing. I love to use the word train, because that drive and that powerful force behind it, right?
Yeah.
As we talk about this, you keep bringing up these great ideas with things like that. This isn't just like, okay, I'm going to go back to what you were talking about, all the things that you do for your kids and what you want it to be so much more of, and that you didn't necessarily have some of those experiences, but you did mention a couple, and I could see you light up as you start talking about. Do you remember those teachers' names? Do you remember
Yes.
who they were? Share them if you would.
Yes, absolutely. If I'm able to share names.
Please, yes, for teachers, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, first grade, Mrs. Richmond. And I moved to this school my very first year teaching, and Mr. Richmond, her husband, was here. And I was like, oh my gosh. One, makes me feel like a total baby, but also, wow, that was the one teacher that just stood out to me. We did plays, we did read alouds, we acted things out. She was the one that took me to her house at the end of the year. It was like a couple blocks from school, and she walked every single one of us to her house, had a game of like football in the back, made us a picnic. We all stayed outside. It was beautiful. And I remember her name, whereas honestly, there's some teachers I just don't even remember their names. Fifth grade, Mrs. Forsyth hatched chickens every year. We got that real life experience of incubating, watching that life cycle happen in front of us. And I have taken that to my teaching, and in kindergarten, we do that every year. That is the hardest thing, making sure those babies live, and it's gut wrenching and whatever, but it is so real. And I get amazing writing and amazing reading out of these kids, because it's something that's actually happening in front of them, and they love it. I had a middle school teacher in math, and she knew I didn't like to do homework. Oh, and she was going to crack me of it. I tested well. I didn't do homework well. I was that kid. I did not like doing homework, and she wasn't going to take it. And she made me stay after school, called my mom up. They made a deal. I was in the homework club after school every day, and I didn't like it one bit. And when I became a teacher, I went to go take my test in a little center to become a teacher. And I went in there, and I came out, and that lady was standing there. Mrs. Horst was standing there.
Oh my goodness.
And I took that opportunity, and I thought, you know what? I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that lady. And I don't think back then that I knew it and that I enjoyed being in her class one bit. But I knew when I saw her that moment that if I had passed that test I just took, that I was going to need to thank that lady. And I went up to her, and she remembered exactly who I was.
Wow.
And she gave me the biggest hug. And I said, I have to thank you for kicking my butt in gear, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Mm-hmm. And so another part of who I am is, that tough love of, I'm going to do it because I love you, and I'm not going to give up on you. I think I learned from her. And those are the teachers I remember. And I mean, sadly, it's few and far between, but I take what I do from them and I integrate it into what I do now. And I guess I didn't see it all so clearly until maybe just this moment, but
it's the impact, right? And that's the thing that I think, we all, that question that we always ask about, why did you become a teacher? And you jumped into it right away. Well, because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to be somebody with purpose and live my life with purpose. And as you talk about that and you talk about your teachers, that was going to be my second question, was who actually inspired you? But again, as we roll with this, it just kind of changes and adapts. So what is it? What other passions do you have outside of school that maybe aren't your passions inside school? Because I know a lot of them inside of school and you've shared a lot of them with us, but what kind of things do you love to do outside of school that make you?
Yeah, sure. Anybody that knows me knows my transformations in my class, and I know that that's still school, but the crafts and the art. My husband and I met at art class in college, and he's an artist and a teacher as well, and I love doing crafts and art and creating things. I love interior design. If you ever come to my classroom, you'll notice things are always in different places. It just kind of happens that way. My girls, definitely my girls, going outside, hiking, camping. I absolutely love being outdoors and fishing. I love animals. I could take any little animal home. Thank goodness my husband doesn't let me, but I love animals. I love, oh, so bizarre. I like sitting in the window and watching birds and bird watching. It's something my dad and I used to always do. And I like looking at them and knowing what birds I've seen and which ones I haven't and writing them down. And, yeah, I'm a big family person. I love to bake and cook too. I really have come into my own learning how to do that. Staying home with my girls and learning to bake bread, and again, giving it to others and seeing them enjoy it. I like lighting people. I like lighting people up. And it might be with food, it might be with teaching, but I like lighting other people up and smiling and spreading the kindness, I guess.
You talk about lighting people up. I actually just got done this morning. Actually, some of the work I was doing was with another group, and it brought to mind a quote that actually Miss Egan shared last week about, that when you shine, you allow others to shine, and those kind of things. But as we sit here and we talk, and you talk about the kids, and you talk about everything else, and I think I know you're going to answer this question. But with the situation right now where our schools are closed, notice I didn't say school is over or anything. Schools, buildings are closed, but learning is still happening. And you mentioned your home office, you have kids there. What has been the greatest challenge for you during all of this?
I would have to say the hardest would be engagement, in the fact of I use my voice and I use props and the atmosphere that we're in, and all of that become a big driving force as to how my lessons go, and not being there to be able to control that environment or to get them going. I can find ways, I can dress up, or we can sing songs and we can do those things, but I feel like, and part of that is having that physical connection and being, like it might be me just, getting real up into it, or passing by them and dancing with them as they get the right answer, and doing the chants that we do anytime someone is successful, or when someone's struggling, we have a different chant to get them going and motivated to feel like they can do this. And just that personal part of it has been very difficult. I could sit on a Zoom and talk to my kids all day long, just being able to talk and have that. I'm so very thankful for those things that we're able to do with our kids, but yeah, I miss them.
Yeah.
So dearly.
Sounds like it. And the thing that I hear you saying as you talk about all that is really that present moment, right? It's about being together in that space, and the things that you can do in that space that you can't necessarily do through a screen, in a two-dimensional flat.
Yeah.
Here I am, you can get close, you can get back, you can do all these things. And like you said, you can dance and you can do little gestures and whatnot. But when you're there and they get to see your whole body and how it fits together in that space is just a completely different thing. But I will tell you this, and I don't know if I've said this to you personally, and I know that I've mentioned comments about it. So the thing that you need to know that you're doing is, even though you're on a computer screen, your presence, your passion in a space is filling. So don't doubt that when you're on the screen, you're still making that impact with those kids. I mean it, because your presence is impactful. The way you carry yourself, the way you talk, the animations you have, the way you hold yourself and work in that space, even right here on the screen, is impressive. And the kids are responding. Even when they're at home, those kids are responding. Okay. So thank you for everything. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for everything you do for kids. I think I'll end it with that, and just say thank you. Thank you for being at Beartooth, and thanks for loving our kids. And thanks for bringing the heat, bringing the fire every single day into your classroom. I just love it. So glad.
Thank you. And I have to thank you for allowing me to do it. I mean, not everybody's okay with the crazy things I do and the loud things we do, or, pulling games in or pulling chickens in. I mean, thank you for allowing me to teach the way that I know I can teach and reach those kids.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
Yeah, and that's what we want, reaching those kids, whether it's their heart, whether it's their mind. We just got to keep on reaching, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Mrs. Bealer. And thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you being with us. And we'll come at you sometime later this week with yet another guest.